Welcome back. So glad to see you. I am here and I'm joined with a new friend, and this is Rachel. Rachel, it is so good to have you here with us. Rachel is going to be joining us as we go through all of our fun RIDGEWAY Kids Online video series. So Rachel, before we get started, I want you to tell a little bit about yourself. So where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Ohio, but I live in New York now. I actually live in Armonk.
Armonk, if you don't know, is one of our new sites. So RIDGEWAY Church this year has not just expanded to another campus in New Rochelle, but we've got a third campus in Armonk. And Rachel is the children's pastor there. So we're really, really excited to have her join us. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew who you were, and that when you see her, you can wave hi and let her know who you are. So I can't wait to get started about our lesson. So why don't we go ahead and get going and dive right in. Rachel, have you ever had a time where you got super frustrated?
It kind of happens more than I wish it did, but it happened just yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I was working on something on my computer and it just was not working out.
Oh, no.
I would try, it wouldn't save, so all my work would be lost and I would have to start all over, and it was just really frustrating.
I know. Well, did you just like give up or just want to like throw something at the computer, or what did you have to do? Did you have to just kind of persist through?
Yeah, well, I definitely wanted to give up. I just thought maybe I'll just put this away and I'll do it another day. But I really needed to get it done. So I had to persist. I had to keep trying until I got it. And I eventually did get it.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't know about you, but I bet you guys, we're in the middle of virtual school, and I am sure that you probably had your own fair share of frustrations that you had to persist through. So I know that we're talking about the parables in this series on Ridgeway Kids online. So I wanted to see if there was a parable that was connected to persistence. Do you know of a parable that kind of fits that description?
Yeah, I think there's one called The Persistent Widow.
The Persistent Widow? Oh, wow. Well, I think that Persistent Widow is found in Luke chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. So, I think that it's a really, really great parable because it's talking about prayer, but also not losing heart. Because it is so easy to just get so frustrated and lose heart and just want to give up. But sometimes that's just not an option.
Yeah, and that makes me think of a verse in 1 Thessalonians 5, 16 through 17, which says, "Always be joyful and never stop praying."
Oh, wow. Always be joyful and never stop praying. And sometimes joy is really hard, really hard. And it's sometimes you really have to pray because that's the only way that you can get joy.
Yep.
Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and start digging in to this parable? The parable of the persistent widow is, Jesus said, it really is about prayer and not losing heart. And he said that there is a judge in a certain city. And this judge, when you think of a judge, you usually think of somebody who is kind and fair and just. Right?
Yeah, and cares about the people.
Right. And justice is really about what is right, doing what is right. So you hear a lot in the Bible, God talking about justice and righteousness, and those are all about doing the right thing at the right time. Well, this judge, Jesus says he didn't fear God, so he didn't love God, and he didn't respect man. So he wasn't a very just judge. He just kind of did what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it.
It doesn't sound like he would be a very good judge for the people that he was judging either.
Yeah.
So there was this woman in the parable who was a widow, and she was poor, and she was having a really hard time. Some really hard things were happening to her, so she went to this judge and asked him to give her justice, and he wouldn't.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like very kind or like he's doing his job at all.
No.
No. But did she just give up?
Well, I'm sure she wanted to, but she didn't give up. She really, really wanted justice. So she persisted in going to this judge and asking him for what she needed.
And it says that this judge, he decided, he's like, I don't fear God and I don't respect man, but this woman keeps on bothering me. So I'm just going to give her down. Even in scripture, it says, I will give her justice so she will not beat me down with her continually coming. So he got so annoyed and she was so persistent. He just wanted to get rid of her.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because this example is about justice happening. Like this woman, she got what she needed done, but it doesn't sound like this judge is a good example of who God is. Right?
Yeah, well, he's human, so he wasn't caring very much about the people, and he didn't really care about God.
Yeah.
So.
But that is just to say, like, if this judge who wasn't good, who wasn't kind, who wasn't just, gave this woman what she needed, how much more would God give us what we needed? A God who is just, who is kind, who does care about us. He would give us not just the justice that we need, but the justice that he can do. He will give us the best kind of results. He will come through in ways that we can't even imagine because he's a good God. That is pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
So what we can know is that we can be confident in what God is going to do, and he's going to take care of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that when I look at this, I know that even when I have a hard time, and I'm struggling with something, but if I continually pray, God's going to answer my prayer.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So it kind of reminds me of our memory verse, right?
It sure does. Always be joyful and never stop praying. And God can say that because He knows that when He says it, we're trusting in Him and not in people.
Yeah.
Because people don't always do the right thing and they're not always nice about it. But God is so caring and kind towards us that we can always trust that if we keep praying, He will take care of us.
How do we do it? What are some ways that we can actually apply what we've learned today to our lives each and every day?
That's a really good question. Well, praying is kind of like talking to God. It is our way of communicating with Him. So just like we're standing here talking to each other and we're talking to you, we're sharing something with you. When you pray, you're just talking to God. You're sharing your heart with Him. You're telling Him what you need. And that's how we can start to build that connection with Him.
And I feel like it's a little bit like doing homework and kind of building muscles. Like we need practice to do it. So if we are going to be good talkers with God, we need to kind of work on that, right? So what are we going to do? What is some way this week that we can start practicing and doing the work of talking with God?
Yeah, we're going to have a prayer challenge this week. We're going to challenge all of you and your families to pray every single day this week. And it doesn't have to be for long. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. We just want you to start practicing and getting used to talking to God every day.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to keep track of your prayers every day and even decide on something that maybe you want to pray on every single day.
Well, I'm excited for this challenge.
Me too.
You know what? I think would be really cool if you guys decided to take a picture of your challenge and let us know. Keep us posted through Facebook or Instagram what you guys have been up to and how God has answered your prayers. So go ahead, make sure that you like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and we want to hear from you. So I hope that you have a great week, and we're going to see you again next time.
Bye, guys.